Hey there, we're Chris and Cindy. Welcome to Our Champagne Life. So I am refinishing our cockpit table. It's made of wood and it was kind of abused when we got the boat, and we just never really made things pretty for ourselves. So I am making it pretty now so we can have somebody else love it. And so I just want to give you a little peek at what we're looking at here. So you can see there's a lot of stains on it and just, you know, some rough areas. So now I'm going to sand it down and I'm going to restain it and then put some poly on it, and then we'll reinstall it. And I totally need to show you this shirt because I think it is the funniest shirt in the entire planet, and I had to get it. And Chris actually thinks it's hilarious. All right, let's get started. I'm not gonna put safety glasses on because I have sunglasses on. We will be good. I'm gonna start with a pretty heavy grit sandpaper, and then I'll switch to like a finer sandpaper once I'm ready to go. It would help if I plug this in. You can hear Trooper barking in the background. So it's coming out pretty good. I got the sides done. I flipped it around because I wanted to be able to get to this side better, and I don't have an extension cord in. But unfortunately, these stains are going really deep into the wood. So I'm gonna have to do some more sanding to get those out because I don't want them bleeding through the stain. So I've got a little bit more sanding to do. So the table also has this extension piece, which these fold out, and then the extension piece slides on. So I'm going to sand these down too. But I'm still working on these stains. They are stubborn, and I might end up with just some stains that show through. We will see. Well, I think that's as good as it gets with those stains. Not too bad. And hopefully once the stain goes on, they won't be as noticeable. So now I'm going to swap out this sandpaper for a finer grit. And just do a light sanding. Then I'm going to wipe it down, wet it, because that helps the stain absorb, and then do a couple coats of stain, a couple coats of poly. All right, so I'm just going to wipe it down with the wet rag, get it nice and damp. All right, and then I have this golden oak. I believe that will be the right color, I hope. It might be a little light. We'll see. And I already stirred the stain previous to the video. I'm going to do the sides last in case any drips drip down the sides. I'll be able to wipe it. Oh, this will look good. You always want to stain with the grain of the wood. So I actually had started this little hobby of refinishing furniture a couple years ago. And I fell in love with doing it. So when I told Chris I wanted to do this table, he was like, oh, we don't need to do the table. And I said, I'm going to do the table because I love doing this. There's something to be said about taking a piece of furniture and bringing it back to life. Chris and I were kind of talking about the channel with one of our friends, and we were explaining to them that the reason we started the channel was because we were originally going to show people how we built this champagne lifestyle on a beer budget. And then we kind of got sidetracked with the boat and just documenting all of the drama that went along with the boat, and we didn't really get into the original reason we wanted to create the channel. So we didn't name it Our Champagne Life to be braggy. We wanted to show people that anybody can live this crazy lifestyle that we have, which is, you know, living on the shoreline, right down the street from the water, you know, having the boat, having our Lamborghini, having the Audi, you know, just how we did it all. And so if you think that you would be interested in that type of content, let us know, because we would love to share like how we made it all happen. Because believe me, we didn't start off very well. You know, when we were young, had a lot of debt and not a lot of assets. So we would love to share how we made it happen. So if you want to see that kind of content, drop a comment in the comments below, and we can go ahead and include some of that content. All right. So that piece was like made after the fact. It's kind of like an aftermarket add-on to the table. So it's absorbing the stain a lot differently than the regular table. And the sides are absorbing the stain differently. So the top is going to end up getting some extra coats before I do the poly. But overall, this looks a lot better. I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'm going to let this coat dry, and then I'll apply another coat on the top of the table. So I'm going to let that dry. And while I let it dry, I'm going to spread some weed and feed, because our lawn is full of weeds. Really bad. All right, bye. So I just got off the phone with one of the mechanics that was supposed to start working on the engines, and he says, oh yeah, I don't really have time. So I'm like ready to scream. We don't have the time to dedicate to get this boat running, and if we can't get a mechanic to do it, I want to cry. I want to cry. I'm so fed up with it. Nobody wants to do work, I guess. I don't know. I know mechanics are booked, but we talked to this guy almost 3 weeks ago, and he said he'd put us on his books, and now he says he doesn't have time. All right, well, anyway, I'm just going to give it a light sanding because the first coat dried. And then I'll wipe it down and do another coat. Whoops, I should have put the gloves on. Now I have stain on me. is another mechanic. Let's see what happens. Hello, this is Cindy.
Hey, it's Michael Offshore Northeast.
Hi, how are you?
What do you got going on?
So my husband and I, we got a Sea Ray 330 Sundancer a few years back. And not very long after we got it, we lost the first engine. And we think it was water intrusion because of the exhaust system, like the way it's set up, it allows like water up into the exhaust. I guess there was like an issue with it with some Sea Rays. So we...
Is this an inboard boat or a stern drive boat?
Inboard.
Okay, so this is a V-drive boat.
And we tried to find a long block and we couldn't because it was like during COVID. So we did it in pieces. We did the heads and then realized that we needed a short block to go with it. So then we got the short block, got that all installed, and then we lost the other engine. We just haven't been able to get them running. It's just chasing like one issue after another. And you know, what we wish we could have done, but we couldn't get them at the time, was just get 2 brand new crate engines. Because, you know, the stuff that we're chasing down, you know, this issue, that issue, it all would have been replaced. You know, we had even issues like, we ended up with bad fuel because it sat so long. And then that got up into the system, you know, caused some issues. I mean, even our pickup line even got blown off of the fitting. And I mean, it's just like... The most bizarre crap has been going on, but we still haven't gotten them running, and we just don't have the time to dedicate to get them. And we're selling the boat, and we need to get the engines running. So we're
looking. What year's the boat?
Yeah, it's a 97.
Okay, are they carbureted or fuel injected?
They are fuel injected.
What are they doing? Or stuff like that?
One of them was running. And, well, actually, they both got running, but then they just wouldn't stay. Like, as soon as you shifted into, like, any kind of gears, they would stall out. And then they won't even start now. And so my husband was thinking it might be, like, maybe we need new timing done, or maybe distributors. So he ordered distributors. We don't have the time to put them in.
Where's the boat?
It's in Westbrook at Pilot's Point.
Oh, is it in the water?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to pass.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh God.
It's gonna, yeah. I'm out probably 3 weeks anyway.
Okay.
For regular just stuff here I got in my yard that I gotta get done, and then stuff that I have scheduled coming in.
Okay.
Maybe if I could look at it, it wouldn't be for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
That's the old fuel injection system on that. That's got a vapor separator, I think, on the top of the motor.
Mhm.
If I guess right. And neither one wants to start now?
Correct.
I mean, did you guys do all the work yourself, or do you have somebody in there doing the stuff and
No,
he bailed on you?
we did it ourselves, and we don't have the time to get it to do it. We couldn't find anybody to do anything. You know, this is like an ongoing problem, and that's why my husband's a diesel mechanic at Millstone for 20 years, and I mean, he knows what he's doing with mechanical stuff. We just don't have the time to keep troubleshooting and figuring out what's going on.
Did you guys send the injectors out and have them cleaned when motors were out of the boat and stuff, or?
That I'm not sure.
Just trying to think which fuel injection system that has on it. I might be on a blank. That's got the one with the little black box on it, right? Up on top of the engine also?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, where'd you get the other engine from?
My husband ordered them. I don't remember where we got them from.
Let me think here for a second. So neither one starts now.
Correct.
So you don't even know if you have fuel pressure or anything like that?
No.
No. Do you take the fuel system apart? They clean any of the filters, or you have no idea?
No, we cleaned everything out because we actually had to pump $1,000 worth of fuel out of the boat because it went bad. And then we cleaned everything out because we knew it was
It
an
should have
issue.
gone bad in 2 years. It shouldn't have. How long has the boat been sitting for?
It was 2 years. The boat hasn't run in almost 3 years.
Yeah. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember which fuel injection system that has on that. If it's got the older one or if it's just got the next generation. You got a serial number?
I mean, I can get it. I don't have it right now. Um, Unfortunately, my husband's traveling for work, and he just he tries to communicate with all these mechanics, and then like nothing ends up happening because he works like a million hours a week.
Yeah. So you got this good. You got the dirty job to find
I
somebody.
know, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm learning.
You're learning.
Yeah, I got right in there with him this past year and tried to help him.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's basically a basic system. Nothing really crazy on that stuff. To not make it start.
Mhm.
Unless there's no fuel or no spark. 97 3/3. Let me talk to one of my guys here. I'll call you back in a little bit and let you know if I can look at it.
Okay,
If I
thank
want to
you.
look at it, or if I want to just say sorry.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
I'll call you back in a few. I'll call you on this 4473 number. I'll call
Okay.
you back on.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
For some reason, when Chris communicates with these people, he knows what he's talking about, but there's miscommunication because they say, "Oh, I told your husband I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that," and then it's like a he said, she said. So I'm trying to do the scheduling, but I don't know what the heck I'm talking about with these engines. And then they ask me like all these crazy questions. I'm like, I don't know. Like, can't you just come and like fix our engines? Like, we're willing to pay. We're willing to pay. I know there's a shortage of marine mechanics right now. I do know that. But this is like completely insane. Everybody's so backed up. So let me tell you, if you are young and you have not picked a career yet and you want to go into a trade, become a marine mechanic because you will have work until you're dead. That's all I can say. All right, so I am going to wipe this down again, and then I'm gonna do another coat of stain. We'll see how it looks. I think the sides might be okay. I just need to do the top. It's very frustrating. So these stains are popping right through. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to be. But the table overall looks really good. There was a lot of gouges and scratches in it, and so overall it definitely looks better than it did. I just couldn't see a perfectly good wood table going to waste. Okay, so I'm gonna clean it up, let it dry, and then I'll put a coat of poly on. The stain dried overnight, and so now I am gonna go ahead and put a coat of poly over it. It's clear semi-gloss, that's just what we had. And it says fast drying. I don't really know how fast it dries, but we will find out. I was gonna do it inside, but it's not too windy today, so I think we're gonna be okay. I already stirred it, so hopefully I can just go ahead and apply this I'm probably going to end up doing 2 coats of poly, maybe 3, depending on what it looks like. And I like to use a foam brush. You can use a regular brush if you prefer that. I'm actually going to start over here first. A little update on the mechanical debacle. We are supposedly having somebody come in a couple days. We'll see. I'm not going to get my hopes up. So some of you might be wondering, like, why is Cindy doing all these boat projects? Where is Chris? Chris works a lot, and Chris is actually traveling right now for work. So I am left on my own, which usually involves me doing some sort of projects anyway when he's not home or around. It just so happens they're boat projects. But I've done some crazy projects when he's traveling before. One time I had a piece of furniture that I wanted to stain, and he kept saying, no, 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 it's fine the way it is. It looks good the way it is. So he went on a trip and I stained it. Another time he was working crazy hours and he came home and the kitchen cabinets had been painted. It's just kind of how I handle things when he's not home. Because if I don't do a project, I'm just going to sit around and be sad. Because he's my buddy. Drippy dripping. All right, so first coat is on. We will let this cure, and then we'll come out and see what it looks like and do it again. It's looking really good. I'm excited. I always say that. I'm excited. Or I ask Chris, are you excited? He's never excited, usually. He's pretty excited about our next boating adventure. You're just gonna have to wait and see. First coat of poly is dry. So I'm gonna grab a little piece of sandpaper, lightly sand it, wipe it down, and put the second coat on. So this poly says quick dry, and they're not kidding. That first coat of poly only took about an hour to dry. So that was nice. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to just put this on like flooring and walk on it and move furniture, but it dried pretty quick. So I think that's gonna be it. I'll show you once it's dry. But I think that's it. So this is the final result. So we finally got a chance to look at our boat engines, and we found that there was possible water intrusion again, and that they are not in good shape and probably need to be completely rebuilt. So our friends said, you know what? Come out sailing with us. And it was the most amazing experience, and it was exactly what we needed to just escape the drama of the boat. Sailing doesn't have to be hard, Chris, right?
Okay, that's it. Well, it does. It's hard. Okay.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.